Okay, so let's go turn in some quests, because we have several of those that we'd like to do, and then perhaps once we do that, we'll head back over here to purchase a couple of upgrades for things that we missed on missions. No, stop telling me to talk to Bailey. I won't do it. So we know there's one in the Presidium. We know there's, I think, 2 at the Huerta Memorial Hospital. So why don't we go hospital first, especially because Jacob said that he wanted to talk to us here.
One moment, please. Now arriving at
Okay.
Huerta Memorial Hospital.
Here we are, and we have a couple people that we're looking to turn in quests for. But there's Jacob. So sure, let's chat with him.
Hey, Shepard. I'm glad to see you. I know things are crazy right now.
Exactly. So you have to take the moments when you can.
So how's it going? How are you?
So what's going on with you? You still like what you're doing?
Things are good. I'm good.
Still not tempted to come back to the Normandy?
Always tempted, Shepard. But no.
So, you working on the Crucible?
Don't get me wrong. I'm smart, but not that smart. Hackett keeps me busy, though.
How's he doing?
Holding up. If they make old guys any tougher than that, I'd like to see it.
Alright, I mean, of course, once upon a time, Jacob did work for the Alliance, but he was not thrilled about, what was it? The rules that he had to abide by or something like that? I forget. No, he had... Oh, this is Mass Effect 2. He had a mission that didn't go very well, and he was concerned about the implications there, and so he left and joined Cerberus. I forget the specifics. I might still be getting that wrong. How is Dr. Cole, the person who he sent a message to that we read at the terminal by Liara's office that he said he used the L word? Just wondering what the deal might be there.
It was interesting to meet Bryn. How is she?
She's great, actually. It's good to see her work without the distraction of having to worry about the colony.
And you and her?
We're having a baby, Shepard.
What?
Congratulations.
Wasn't
I mean,
exactly
congratulations,
planned,
yes.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be a better father than mine was. Do the whole thing right. It's,
One more thing to fight for.
You got that right. Bryn wants to name it after you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a little much,
Shepard.
I guess.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk her out of it. No offense.
None taken.
None taken.
Good.
But as I think I said when we read that message about the message in which Jacob sent to Dr. Bryn and dropped the love Jacob, it's been, I'm pretty sure, less than a year since Mass Effect 2 concluded, and Jacob has already met this person, become significant others with this person, and they are already having a baby together. So, just moving a little fast there, Jacob. Just moving a little fast there, Jacob, is all I'm saying. And there's, not to hop on the, Jacob is the worst squad mate ever train, but just to raise one of the issues that people have with Jacob's character and how he's designed. I mean, does play into a lot of stereotypes, and you would like for them to have gone a more creative route than that with Jacob, where, okay, his father abandoned him, now he hates his father, and of course that was in large part what his loyalty mission was about in Mass Effect 2. Then in Mass Effect 3, here, he gets in a relationship really quickly with someone else and has an unexpected baby. It's like, yes, sure, these things do happen. And, to be fair, in a world in which many of our squad mates have had terrible things happen to their family. I mean, look at what happened to Allie's father. We know that Garrus's family is at least very much in danger. They may not have abandoned him, but then who else? Like Jack. I mean, terrible history for her, where she didn't even know she actually got sold to Cerberus basically as a child, or at least abducted by Cerberus as a child, and of course brought to Cerberus training facility where she was tortured. So like, it's not exactly all sunshine and rainbows for all of our other squad mates, but it's just that the decisions that were made for the things that happened to Jacob and that Jacob did in Mass Effect 3, it's just all like, could you have maybe gone in a slightly different, less stereotypical direction? And it just would have felt like Jacob was more a genuine, unique, interesting character rather than a copy-pasted, cookie-cutter teammate, which is, I think, in many cases, the criticism that Jacob gets. Which, for those reasons that I mentioned, you can see the case to be made for that. But, well, there's more to him than just that, right? How's the progress going on the Crucible?
What's going on with the Crucible?
That project is crazy. Freaking huge. And all these brilliant minds are working night and day trying to figure it out. I wish you could see them. Heads down, piecing it together. It's something to see. We'll get this Crucible built, Shepard. And then, we'll win this thing. I feel it. Do you feel it?
Yeah, sure, I feel it. And I'm counting on you and everyone there. Get it done.
Believe it.
All right. It looks like everything we can chat with Jacob. Oh, I mean the biggest gripe with Jacob. I mean, is this a spoiler? Since he just told this to us, I guess, like, kind of, sort of, but not exactly. If you're playing FemShep, minor spoiler. So that whole thing that he said about being in a relationship with Dr. Bryn and expecting a child, perhaps the biggest reason why people are not big fans of Jacob is because that is still the case, even if you romanced him in Mass Effect 2. So Shepard gets court-martialed technically for a little bit, and in the meantime, Jacob's just like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about our relationship, found a new person without talking about breaking up with you, and now I'm having a baby with this person. All in the span of less than a year. It's like, Jacob, come on, dude. That, I think, is the thing that people take the most issue with him. But anyways, those are all gripes that you'll hear people throwing around. But for me personally, he's not my favorite squad mate by any means, but he's serviceable. He's remarkably average. It's just that, of course, in Mass Effect, every other squad mate, or so many other squad mates, are so far above average, so amazing, that he does stand out a little bit for that reason. Any other game, you'd say, oh yeah, he's just another dude. But in Mass Effect, just another dude means you stand out like a sore thumb sometimes.
I'm glad we had time to talk.
Me too. Gotta take the moments when you can. So true. And Shepard, thanks again for getting my people out alive.
Take care, Jacob.
You too, Shepard. I'm thinking about you out there. Stay safe.
Thanks. You too.
Something else?
I'm just curious if there's anything else you do say.
Glad we had time to talk.
Me too. Gotta take the moments when you can. So true. And Shepard, thanks again
Yep.
for getting my people out alive.
Yeah, no worries,
Take care,
Jacob.
You too, Shepard. I'm thinking about you out there. Stay safe.
Okay, so we got a little bit of reputation for that. There is also
Welcome to Serta.
the ability to buy more Metagel over here, which is another upgrade that we might want to try to consider purchasing. That might even be more impactful than picking up additional, like shotgun, high caliber barrel. I mean, that is also a good upgrade. Yes, it just doesn't directly affect us. It's mostly just for teammates. We have a couple of things we're looking to turn in here at the hospital. Just a question of who it was. Apparently you are one of the people who needs some stuffs.
I came across this treatment plant at a chemical plant. Could it help?
Treatment? What is... I've never seen this kind of process before. Huh, probably experimental. It's a long shot, but let's run some tests and see if it might work for our patient.
Alright, there you go. That's one of them, but I think we had another one as well. I think we still... Yep, this doctor here.
I overheard what you said. I found this at a Cerberus station. A poison tailored to Turians.
Let me see. Yes, I think this is it. With these schematics, we should be able to come up with an antidote. Thank you. The General might pull through because of this.
Nice. So, saving a Turian general, saw some credits as well, and a war asset, presumably from that Turian general. So I think that's it in terms of things to turn in here. I think we are now all set with that. In terms of monies, we're now at 12,000, which I think is just enough to purchase both of those weapon mods that we were eyeing at the Spectre terminal. So that is a little tempting. Alternatively, is it enough to buy... I think the Metagel upgrade was a fair bit more expensive. We might still be unable to afford this. Yeah, so that may be... well, it may answer our question for us as to which one we would prefer to get. We may not have a choice. We do still have one more quest, I think, at least, that we can turn in at the Presidium Commons.
1 moment, please. Now arriving at
Okay, so I
Presidium
don't remember
Commons.
exactly where this dude was. That's one potential concern. I think he was over in this direction, though. I think he was over here. Him down this way. Might have been that guy. Was it you? It was not you. Apparently, it was not you. It was you.
I pulled this from a Geth jamming tower. Maybe you can use it.
How the hell did you... Oh, never mind. Tech like this, I don't care where it came from. I'll have my people run with this. When the war comes back here, maybe we can save more lives.
So that's the one that we missed on the mission in which we rescued Admiral Corus. You saw... Actually didn't get any money reward, I don't think. It cost us, I'm pretty sure, 1,000 coins, or 1,000 credits. That's usually the price for any quest item that you miss. So it basically turned into a pay 1,000 credits to get a war asset and get a little bit of reputation, I think was the other thing that we got. So, not great from a money standpoint. Obviously, you very much prefer to get all the quest items on the mission, but it's a nice little backup plan to make it so you don't need to stress out big time if you miss something. You should still be able to finish every quest that way, if needed. Obviously, again, suboptimal, but you can make it work. And make it work. Okay, I don't think we need to purchase anything here because I checked this stuff recently. Just doing a quick scan. Like, did we totally ignore people who were going to give us quest items to turn in? The R is also still chilling here.
You sure you don't want to do something a little more exciting?
I love this part of the Presidium. It reminds me of where I grew up.
Where's that?
Armali, back on Thessia. My mother and I lived beside a park. I spent hours there.
Doing what?
Reading, exploring, getting in trouble digging for ruins in the grass.
I knew you would do that.
You're kidding.
I was very young.
I mean, I'm kind of curious though. What qualifies as very young for an Asari? Because kids for a human and kids, air quotes, for an Asari may be two very different things since you live 10 times longer than humans do.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cute.
No one else thought it was funny. Oh, the lecture my mother gave me. But she did buy me my first history book the next day. I miss her, Shepard.
Well, I mean, it's understandable. Of course, we did kind of murder her in Mass Effect 1. So, you did take part in her murder, I'm afraid. Well, murder's a strong word, okay? She attacked us first. To be fair, I do believe she attacked us first.
What was she like?
She was confident and kind. She loved to wear yellow. I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world.
Don't
You'll
think
be
we
okay,
saw her. Don't think we saw her wearing yellow. I think she's
Maybe
wearing
you're right.
black for what it's worth.
Thank you, Shepard. I feel better. I wish we could spend more time together like this. Just friends.
Oh, well, see, the thing is, if you're trying to put the schmoves on us right now, it seems like maybe you're trying to put the schmoves on us right now. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to put the schmoves on Tally, not you, so let's keep this thing professional between the two of us.
I don't really have a lot of spare time for chatting these days.
In that case, let's get back. I'm sure work's piled up.
Probably.
Shepard the party pooper. I know. Shepard, why you gotta ruin all the fun? 'Cause Liara is not Our Lady. Simple as that. Can't send the wrong message, you know? Just another person that we just walked by, that's Salarian, who is also considering naming offspring, children, after us. Just in one case, that's Salarian, it's what? His sister's child? And in the case of Jacob, it's obviously his child with Dr. Cole. Okay, but I think that's everything here. In terms of monies, we did get 1,000 for something there.
Spectre status recognized.
So we still
Please
can't
select the
afford
destination.
anything, or we can't afford the Metagel upgrade at the Memorial Hospital.
Areas tagged of interest
We
are
thought there
highlighted.
might actually be a quest or two to turn it into Purgatory, though.
Now arriving at Ward's
Let's
Purgatory.
check if there are any quests for us to turn in here at Purgatory.
Anyhow, enough about my armor. Let's find the gang and celebrate while I'm still here. Where'd you park?
I took rapid transit.
Come on, you have the fanciest ride on the Citadel. And I saw that new paint job.
I sold it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
What? But you love that car.
I know.
You never shut up about that car.
I know.
I wonder why she sold it. Remember, this was the guy who a while ago was talking about his new fancy schmancy armor, how he was so excited to have that. Okay. Are there peoples here with quests for us to turn in? Also, for what it's worth, this guy appears to be wearing the same fancy schmancy armor, so maybe it's not so fancy schmancy after all. Maybe it is a dime a dozen. Maybe that guy was utterly bamboozled. For a second, I thought that was Cortez. Yes, that is an Alliance uniform, but that is not Cortez. We definitely turned in the quest for you, I believe.
Yes. Make it required reading. Light from the shadows, past the Justicar, all of it. I have Matriarch Athia's backing on this. I want every Asari maiden thinking with the mind of a huntress.
Nice. Well, there's, of course, our good old friend Arya, but now is not really the time to speak with her either, I don't think. What was that? Joker and Edie are chilling over there. Can we check in with them? Oh, and Garrus. Okay, you know, or no, that is a Turian wearing the same color armor as Garrus. No, Garrus is hanging out closer to where the Normandy's docked because he's also looking to chat with us. But maybe we can take a little bit of time to converse with Edie and Joker.
Hey, Commander. I was just about to get us another round.
So, looks like you two are having fun.
Yes. Joker has been smiling and laughing at a significantly higher rate since he and I agreed upon a relationship. I mean, he is happier.
See? They're making it work.
It seemed like you two might make a good match.
I was not so certain. When I first presented this body to Jeff, he seemed aloof.
Really? What did Joker say?
He said I didn't have to conform to some feminine ideal in order to impress him. I then called him on his bullshit, and we proceeded to talk normally. After your encouragement, his attitude exhibited signs of change. He said he was reluctant, but you convinced him to go for it.
She called him out. She was like, I don't buy that for a second. And we did give him a little bit of a pep talk. So we did what we could.
I might have helped a little.
I see. Thank you for your support, Shepard. This is proving to be an illuminating experience.
That's one way to phrase it, I suppose. Alright. A little bit of reputation, and good to hear that Edie and Joker are making it work, it seems.
I always thought this place would be cool if it didn't involve so much walking.
If you're in pain, I can carry you.
You sure? It would be entertaining.
You just introduced me as your personal assistance mech.
Yeah, well, it was the only way to get you inside.
But you know I am not one. Why deceive others?
You don't really want to introduce yourself as an AI with Reaper-based code. They would lynch you.
That would be an inefficient way to render me non-functional.
Maybe, but I think the point still stands.
Your turn. Counselor Irissa.
Not hot. Too much makeup. Not really my thing.
Is that the Asari counselor?
Consort.
Hot, I guess? Can we stop this? You're creeping me out.
Dalatras Linron.
Ew.
That's the Solarian Dalatros, the leader of the Solarian, all the Solarian government. So, yeah, Joker's not having that.
Your turn.
Okay,
Counselor
more of the same.
Irissa.
It is, you know, Edie's just doing some scientific experiments.
Consort.
She's just gathering information, collecting data. Has to better understand what it means to love and be loved. Important stuff, you know? Hold on one sec. Well, no, we don't have any friends over here, though, do we? I don't think so. I don't think so, and I think we've already done some Shepard shuffling in the past, so not urgent that we do it here. Okay, so did we have anyone? I don't think we had anyone with a quest here, but we did have some squad mates hanging out. So good that we spent a little bit of time making sure we took the opportunity to chat with them. Anything more from you two? No, not this time. I remember that Elcor did have a quest for us, but let's see.
Spectre status
Now
recognized.
we have
Please
the
select
monies to buy a couple things at the embassies, so maybe we do go that route.
If you have a question,
Yeah,
consult an Avena terminal for
I think we do that.
assistance. 1 moment, please.
Let's just head over here real
Now
quick.
arriving at Presidium Embassy.
Excuse me, Turian, who has body blocked us on several prior occasions.
Filled out all the forms you requested and jumped through every hoop. I don't even know where the open.
No. It is not Bailey time. It is not Bailey o'clock. What it is buy everything that we can o'clock. Not here, but here. So, specifically, we're talking shotgun high caliber barrel, because that is very often something we're going to want to use. The pure damage one. We can afford that, and we can afford the sniper rifle extended barrel, which is oftentimes also going to be something that we want to use. So we'll take that, and we are almost completely broke here. So we're kind of just hoping that we don't need to purchase fuel to go anywhere for a mission. Otherwise, we might kind of sort of be in trouble. But no, we have our sights set on a very, very big mission, and one that I don't think will require that we spend any fuel to get there.
Spectre status
So let's head back
recognized. Please select a
to
destination.
really just
1
Normandy.
moment, please. Now arriving at
Alright,
docking
Garrus, we
bay
will speak to you
24.
on a later occasion. I'm just deliberately saving that conversation.
Have you discovered a way to run FTL spaceships without an EZO core, Private Talavi?
No, ma'am.
Then consider this a serious assignment. Intel's expecting a Cerberus raid.
Cerberus? Cerberus?
There a
Stop it.
problem?
I thought we were
Stop it,
fighting Reapers,
little
ma'am.
keeper. This is the private that we were talking about a little bit a while ago. The one that we've overheard on several prior occasions, but at the Spectre terminal we were able to redirect her from going to a Cerberus mission over to a Reaper mission, so that she's not at risk of fighting her sibling. Okay, let's head back to the Normandy, though. Assume nothing from you,
Commander?
trainer? No? Okay. So, assume no email messages? Correct? Okay. So what we're looking to do now that we are completely broke, is we are going to Rannoch. Not a little side quest on Rannoch. We're talking big time, priority Rannoch. The Reaper base controlling the Geth has been located, but jamming towers prevent conventional orbital bombardment. Land on Rannoch and use a prototype targeting laser to enable the Normandy to destroy the Reaper base. That sounds pretty big. Pretty big indeed. So, let's get going. Alright, so out from the Citadel and back over to the Perseus Vale. Okay, so here we are, back in the Tycoon system, and it is the only system here in the Perseus Vale, where we of course have Rannoch. We've been here on 2 prior occasions for both the Geth Squadron mission and for the mission in which we tried to, and thankfully were successful, in rescuing Admiral Chorus. As I said before, technically speaking, you only need to do one of those missions in order to unlock the priority Rannoch mission, but for those of you doing this for the first time, I highly recommend that you do them both before you do the priority Rannoch Reaper base, destroy Reaper base mission. Won't go into any further detail to avoid spoilers for you, but that is my strong recommendation. But having done those 2 ourselves, we are now ready to take on the real deal, destroying the Reaper base. Okay, and so on this occasion, somewhat understandably, Tali is a required squad mate. It is on her homeworld, so depending on how you did those other missions leading up to this one, this might even be the first time that you have Tali going to Rannoch, if you're a monster and didn't take her, or the one in which you rescued Admiral Chorus. But, so we have her, and given how we are currently surrounded by Geth all over the place, we're probably expecting to run into some Geth on this mission too, since, you know, they currently control Rannoch, not the Quarians. So, in that case, that means, yeah, Tali's sabotage ability and energy drain to get rid of all the Geth shields should all be quite useful. And if we're talking about other people who would be useful to bring alongside Tali, that's also what we're looking for, is ways to deal with shields, deal with synthetics, and so for that reason, from a gameplay standpoint, Edie could make a lot of sense, what with her, particularly, overload. The other things, I mean, decoy to a small extent, but incinerate is mostly anti-armor, which, I mean, if we're talking Geth Primes, is a thing. They do have some armor, but as do pyros. You just gotta out-pyro the pyros. But, I mean, still, perhaps not the best option for... It's a solid option. It's a solid option. Similarly, Ashley, although she doesn't have an overload by any means, she does have disruptor ammo, which I believe we've already set up for squad ammo, which is nice for giving everyone extra damage against shields, and that means really helpful against the Geth in particular. So that's not a bad option either. Of course, capable of wielding the Typhoon, which is reason enough to take her on many a mission. However, then again, we have our good old pro Garrus here, who also has the Typhoon, also has Overload, and although we were relying on him very heavily early on, or at least we made a point of using him a lot earlier on, we, as of late, have been trying to give other people opportunities to shine a bit. But maybe it's time we just go back to good old-fashioned Garrus here, and might be the first time. Would this be the first time we've done Tali plus Garrus together? I think it is, because oddly enough, we've done Tali and James has tended to have been our pair thus far whenever we've used Tali. So yeah, I mean, this is, of course, a throwback to Mass Effect 1, so, and Mass Effect 2 for that matter, so why not? Okay, so for weapons, don't think much has changed for Shepard. We may have put a few more points, or rather, upgraded some of our mods here one or two more times. The high velocity barrel is new for the SMG, but I think we were saying to ourselves, maybe it's worth it just to have a little bit of ability to penetrate through cover with this, since the Acolyte cannot do that. So if our enemies do have some form of cover, then being able to shoot through that would be kind of nice. It's still probably not enough single-handedly to shoot through anything big, but really thin, light cover, it's possible. So we're probably going to stick with that. For Garrus, though, big changes for him. No more need to rely on the Mantis, because we have now finally acquired the Javelin, which is just, as we were saying a little while ago, way better. Way better. Arguably the best sniper in the game, so we are definitely giving this to him. The Javelin does have built-in armor piercing and cover penetration, which means that you see here the Sniper Rifle Piercing mod says allows to pierce 1.2 meter thick objects. It stacks with that, so at that point we're talking, I think it might be a meter that the Javelin has to start off with, but don't quote me on that. So somewhere in that ballpark. So that would mean with this 2.2 meters, I mean, that's pretty serious cover that you can I mean, that's like more than a wall that you're shooting through at that point. It's potentially very thick objects. And the reduced damage, however, the reduced damage does not take effect for any weapon that has built-in armor piercing already. So that's actually is the case, I think, a little bit with the Mantis. I think it has I think it's less than a meter. It's not as significant as the Javelin, but it does exist for the Mantis as well, I think. So that means for this, you're still getting the armor piercing, and you're still, I think, getting the ignoring defenses of armored targets, although with Garrus's armor piercing ammo, he's already almost ignoring all those defenses anyway. So that's solid. Oh, let's add something else in here, though. Then you could go extended barrel for the pure damage, which is, of course, nice. Or you could get the best of both worlds and go with the Sniper High Velocity Barrel. Now, technically speaking, this one is not as highly upgraded, so this is just level 2, which means we're at 17.5% damage. More armor piercing. In this case, it's 0.65 meters, a little more than half a meter. So across this 0.65, this 1.2, we're at what, 1.85, and as I said, I think the Javelin has a built-in 1 meter penetration, so we're talking just shy of 3 meters. Man, that's crazy. That's like shooting through almost anything, and is actually capable of, if enemies are lined up in a row, shooting multiple enemies simultaneously with the same shot, which is unlikely, but pretty sweet if it does happen. So the downside of the high velocity barrel is just that it's a lower level, so it's 17.5 damage versus 22.5 here, so we're losing 5% in the process, which kinda stinks, but getting the additional 0.65 meter penetration is maybe worth it, and again, the damage reduction does not kick in for the Javelin because it has built-in armor piercing already, and so that means that any additional armor piercing does not get that damage penalty. So I think it's probably still worth it. You could make a case. You could make a case for the extended barrel, but we just love if we could get 1 or 2 more upgrades on this, and then it is quite literally the best of both worlds, no downside. It does have the increased weight, but because squad mates don't care about weight, it doesn't affect their power recharge time. Doesn't matter for us. So that's great. I think Typhoon, we're keeping this. Unless we have, oh, hold on. Unless we have the heavier armor-piercing barrel for you, but we don't. We don't. What is this, Lids? We haven't seen it. You heard nothing. You heard nothing. Okay, for Tally. Scorpion probably remains unchanged. However, the question is shotgun-wise, what do we like? Do we like the Claymore, which we haven't upgraded? Or do we prefer going for the Crusader, which we have almost fully upgraded? We've at least upgraded it a bit. Claymore, devastating close range, humongous damage. Crusader, a little more well-rounded, has much greater range, much greater range than the Claymore does. So the thing is, Garrus has a sniper. Garrus is going to be taking out people from long range pretty reliably. He has ridiculous weapon damage, as we've already seen. Does that mean that we don't need Tally to be providing range? Would we prefer that she just absolutely demolishes anyone that comes anywhere near us with the Claymore and sacrifice some range in the process because Garrus can keep us covered? I don't know. I mean, the fact that we've upgraded the Crusader is perhaps reason enough for us to go this route. I think what we'll do here is this does not have built-in penetration, so that does mean that it is getting the damage penalty for any piercing, but that still means that that when you aren't piercing armor, it's still working at full damage. It's only when you're piercing armor that you start to get that damage penalty, and you're still piercing armor, which is useful. So, I think we're gonna go high caliber barrel, and then probably with that shredder mod. I mean, otherwise it's fair clip, which is not really significant. No, don't really care about the melee damage for Tally. Smart choke, I think I said this before, specifically with the Crusader, it is perhaps, it's not the only, but it is one of the few shotguns that really don't need the smart choke at all. Usually one of the best shotgun mods, but not necessary in this case, so let's just go for the shredder. Okay, I think we do that. Again, we'll use the higher level as the tiebreaker between the Claymore and the Crusader. I think we're good here. Then for abilities. So for Shepard, we do have just enough points here to fully upgrade Defense Matrix, which is very, very tempting. We were just saying at the time that perhaps we'd like to have a better understanding as to how much we actually need this power recharge speed, because we're already at or near 200%, so are we pretty much capped? Well, no, it's not so much that part, because this is reducing us from 200% down to 140% is functionally how this works when Defense Matrix is up. So this would get us from 140 to 170? It's something. Or do we prefer just having the passive 10% damage up all the time? Or 10 additional percent damage reduction up all the time? Technically it's a little bit less than that because it's 10%. That number is 10% when you're in cover, and it's a little bit less than that when you're not in cover, but still, additional damage protection up all the time. I mean, our recharge time, it's not lightning fast when we have this up. It's not instantaneous. But is it fast enough? Or do we legitimately want it to still be as fast as possible, non-stop using powers? I might go damage reduction. To tell you the truth. I think I'm going to go this route. Okay. And now that uses up all of Shepard's points. For Tally, we just used her recently, so we only have 2 points left for her, which is not enough to do anything. Garrus, as I said, it's been a while, actually. It has been quite some time since we last used him. I'm thinking we probably do want to get this last point into Overload here, just because we are specifically bringing him in part because he has this ability, which is great against shields. I think what we were doing is we were kind of building Edie's Overload for chaining against multiple enemies, whereas Garrus's we are trying to do it to maximize single target damage, which is kind of just what Garrus does. So that would mean rather than chain overload, which gives you a small damage boost, but most importantly makes it so that you can hit another target with the overload. The additional target takes far less damage. That's sort of the route that we took with ED. But I'm saying for Garrus, we increase damage to shields and barriers by 100%, and that's when you're going to be using overload anyway. So that's not really a difficult set of criteria to meet. And it already has, what is it? Is it times 3 damage multiplier for overload on shields? I think it's times 3 already. So this adds another 100% damage multiplier to it. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. So I think we'll definitely take that. So that hopefully means that with Garrus, if you have a big shielded enemy, you use overload once, and hopefully that gets rid of all of their shields, and that is significant because we can't use many of our biotics when enemies are shielded. So use Garrus, get rid of all the shields, then suddenly it becomes much easier for us to do our biotic combos. So that's the idea. That's the theory. In addition to just potentially annihilating some weaker enemies with it. Okay. So that's Garrus. Oh, he still has plenty of points to spare here. So then the question becomes concussive shot versus proximity mine. We've basically not used either of these abilities at all. Concussive shot maybe every so often when we just need some crowd control. There's maybe something to be said for that on Garrus because he has boatloads of damage, but if there's one thing he's missing, it is perhaps a little bit of crowd control. So this might be what we want to prioritize next. I mean, the mine does give us some damage as well, but let's see. So for him, as things currently stand, it's just level 1. So it's not really doing much of anything. But to go further, we get the recharge time, which is nice because at the moment it's 10 seconds. I mean, it's not terrible, but 8 seconds would be still a little time consuming, but by squadmate standards, not that bad. Then we get damage and force. The thing is, force dictates how much you're going to get staggered, and that is also something that the threshold for staggers varies depending on how powerful the enemy you're going up against is. So in some ways, if you're not fully upgrading this for force, then it may not be as reliable when it comes to that stuff, but maybe once you get rank 3 and rank 4 in there, that might be sufficient. Let's see, we have 10 points. Is enough to do this. I think we go get concussive shot up to rank 4, and then we'll get like 1 or 2 points with our remaining skill point or 2, and put that into proximity mine. So yeah, let's go that route. I think we go, obviously there's no choice to be made here. Recharge speed, damage and force, and then it's a question of, do you go damage and force here again, or do you go for the impact radius, which, does it have a radius by default? Or is it single target by default? Also, talk about damage multipliers. I believe this has a 4-time multiplier. 4 times damage multiplier specifically for barriers. Humongous damage multiplier for barriers. So, just barriers. Usually you see barriers and shields kind of get looped together in what weapons or skills are good against. But in this case, it is specifically barriers and only barriers. But anyways, so I'm thinking, since crowd control is the one thing that Garrus is lacking without this ability, we might want to lean into that here with the radius. Yes, it means it's not doing as much damage. It's not doing as much force. It should still stagger basic enemies, and so the idea here is that basically you use this if you have a bunch of basic enemies that flank you, swarm you, get right on top of you. Hopefully knock a couple of them down, give yourself enough time to maybe, or at least Shepard, get your shields back using defense matrix, and get back into cover while there's maybe only one of the, maybe, there are 4 enemies there, and you can knock 2 of them or 3 of them down, and you defense matrix to get your shields back when they swarm you, and then there's only 1 shooting at you while you run back to get into cover. Hopefully you're still fine. Hopefully they don't take you out while you're making that dash. So I think we go that route. And then, yeah, we have exactly 1 point remaining, which means we have exactly enough for 1 proximity mine. So it's a sticky mine that you can detonate when enemies step within the range. The radius is 3 meters, so that's something. It's also an AoE option. The recharge speed is atrocious. At least it is before we upgrade it further. Damage is at low levels. I mean, it's not bad. But as we start bumping this thing up here, might start to get a fair bit higher. But anyways, that'll have to do for Garrus for now. So that's everyone spending all the points that they can spend at this stage. So that will have to be our setup going into this next mission.